Okay, do my hair as well.
I wish, but the battery just died.
Hello there and welcome to another BoBeats video, and I am joined today by Aura.
I drink too much coffee, I feel jittery.
Today we are going to explore the new OXI One, or the Mark II version of the OXI One sequencer, which I have never used before. And you have worked a little bit with OXI on this as well?
Yes, so I've been a Mark I endorser since the inception of it. This one I helped develop it since September. So I bring some ideas and I work closely with OXI in all the phases of its development, yes. So.
Jag tungsint driver jag fram som ett band som bandas för många gånger med samma trams. Jag tungsint, jag är en ensam lyricist som till sist vunnit genom lite list. Jag tungsint, jag driver fram. Tungsint, driver fram. Okay, so if I understand correctly, one of the new things with the Mark II is that we now have eight tracks,
yes,
right?
Yes. You have a lot of different sequencing modes. So whenever you press Shift and the number of the track, you go into the sequencer setup.
Yeah.
So here in mode, you have different way to use it. So mono, obviously polyphonic. Chord is our chord sequencer. Multitrack let you have for each lane of the sequencer here a different MIDI output. So basically transform a single sequencer into a 8-track sequencer.
So pretty good for like drums, for example.
Exactly. And then we have two other modes. The stochastic, which is a kind of sequencing, generative sequencing, and then matricial, which is something that Manuel, the developer, invented, which is another generative, very interesting sequencing mode.
For track number one, we just select it, and then I can put down notes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically right now you are already quantized, so you have a Dorian scale in C2. All the, let's say, setup, you pressing Shift, you will see here in the menu what you can do. So setting the BPM, the swing, scale and root. So with here you're moving all the different scale, still in Dorian or minor, whatever you want. And here you set your root note.
Okay, cool. What if I want to decrease the probability of a step? Can I do that?
Yes. Now we set up the step, all the step properties using the page. So whenever you press the step you want to interact with, you will see the page button blinking. So you have three.
So here we have a bunch of stuff. So repeat.
You have 3 pages. So the first one is the basic one where you set the velocity, the octave.
And then you have trig over there, so you can change
exactly. And the trig, you have all the basic probability, or like, for example, you can say play this one every 1 of 2.
Okay, right.
So yeah, as you can see, like setting up a basic thing is super nice and super simple. We had, especially on the mono mode, you have a few very interesting stuff. So my favorite thing is this new Accumulator engine. So in page 3. So you can set an accumulation every time that the playhead hits that step.
So every time the playhead hits the step,
you can say go.
It starts accumulating.
Okay. So, for example, I want to change this one. So I go here. I go amount 1 semitone. When it reaches the accumulation limit, now it's 7 semitone, it will start again.
Over. Yeah. An amount is just. One note.
Now it's 1 semitone every time, but you can set up as much as you want. it's very fun when you start doing positive and negative between two notes, because with 3 notes you already have interesting thing. And then you can set these accumulation conditionally, so let's say every 2 cycles, this one every 1st cycle. You can set up with the flow button, which is a new thing like this. So for example, now there's no accumulation, but when I press the flow, which is nice to add a performative vibe to it, because you have this basic arpeggio and then flow. It works right now. We will set condition to that, but right now works on all the tracks. So you can set in each track something that will be
triggered when you
press
turn,
flow,
press it,
and it can get pretty intensely complicated in a good way. So I set up the track 8 as a multi-track. So each one of these send information to North drum.
On a different, basically different MIDI.
Yeah, like pressing the number and the track. When you see this bronze yellow thing, means you are selecting the track. So now I'm in track 1, sending MIDI channel 9, which is the kick of this one. Okay. You can also send a different note.
If I hold this and press this,
exactly,
and can set it up for
track 2.
Yeah, so set up the different MIDI channels.
Yeah, exactly.
Every lane has its own MIDI channel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. At the first iteration of the multi-track was harder to set these things, but right now you select your track and then you double press here the velocity. So now you can set.
Okay, so we got the per.
And the multi-track is nice because you can see everything in front of you. And the fun part here is like, you see the playhead now goes the same for each track, but each track is independent. So you can set one that lasts only 5 steps, for example.
So say I want to put down a note repeat on this step.
Okay, you just hold, and you see the page repeat, so page again, and now you have the repetition that is actual, the new, it's a new thing. So first you set the amount of repetition with the first note. And then you set, now let's remove this. And you can set, the cool things that we added is like you not only set the repetition, but the span of the repetition. Now you do 2 repetitions in the span of 4 steps. So if you put the duration shorter, exactly. So you have a nice way to set up that. And then this select the velocities. So it goes up, and this select the different span, like you hear it here. It's uneven, the kind of repetition. And this is cool, especially when you do, let me show you just quickly.
Sure.
The velocity open up the thing, and these are also... Also, the repetition is conditional, so you can say happen 100% of the time, or like say every cycle.
Other,
Let's say you have this, what is a cowbell? So right now we have the same length for each
same
track.
Pattern length.
So let's
make it shorter.
This one 5 steps.
Okay, how did you do that? How did you do it?
And so init and end set the
start and end points. So I hold it down and I can see the start point.
The pink is the start point. So here you have
and then I hold end and it's the pink end point.
Yeah.
So here I could just do, and we could change the probability here to.
This is not, now you are in the probability of the repetition.
Sorry. Set, so we go to page.
Exactly, the first one.
The trig one, and then I turn it down. We start by just changing the probability here a bit.
Exactly.
And then we can add some repetition to one of them.
Definitely. And then from here you can also decide, let's add pitch. So if I double press here, now I can, because
okay.
this is sensitive to pitch. So
wait, how did we get into that mode?
Pressing, so the first one, press, set the velocity.
Yeah.
The second one set the pitch. And the third one set the length of the gate. Now it doesn't work well with this, but with modular stuff. And this one set the repetition. So the this set how many repetition you do. But,
okay, cool. And then we go back to pitch, and we can just play around with the pitch here.
Yeah. Now we make it a bit crazy, but.
For the people at home, they can hear what's going on.
Yeah.
Can we add a second synth, like a bass?
So
wait, let's remove this cowbell. Second, give me a little bit sharper attack on it. So what would you do just to vary a bass line like this? If you want to do some simple stuff, what kind of comes to mind as cool stuff that you could do with OXI?
One thing that you can do if you want to perform, we had this performance page. So let's just listen to the first two tracks. When you go in performance page, actually, let me turn on back in performance page you have different things. Here, if it's a multi-track, you can mute the different part of the drum, and you have a looper and a fill machine here. That it's a little bit repeat, bit slicer. It reminds of that. So it's fun to use it. Yeah, and also you can and you can mute this other track pressing simply this blue button at the beginning. And the other things, you can vary the pitch of it. So for example, now I am transposing this, and you can transpose your bass. You have also another function, pressing shift, which is shifting the steps of the sequence. So it moves right and left. And then you can remove, I can reset like this when you want.
So you have to hold down shift to reset?
Yes. These move the steps, and it can create very simple thing, very interesting things when you have the same sequence multiplied in different lanes. For your first lesson, you're already doing. And this repeat machine and fill machine, it's very nice because it really changes based on the moment you push it.
The menus, I feel, can be a little bit intimidating. It is like you say with Electron workflow. It's deep, you know. It takes a little getting used to. I can see that you could, you know, be a little intimidated by the fact that, for example, if we go to pay. Sorry, hold on. No, wait. See my point?
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of sub menus and stuff going on here. You hold down a step, and then you're scrolling through stuff. But eventually you learn where things are because you're interacting with these four knobs here anyway. Okay, so here we have the keyboard view. We access it by pressing the keyboard here. Yeah, select a track, press keyboard. And what am I actually seeing?
So as you see here, you have C starting here to B, and the red note is the one that are off key, and they will just be quantized to what key you are in. Now we are in C Dorian, so.
Cool.
And each lane is a different octave. You have also the isomorphic keyboard, like other things, like a push, for example, that has. But I like to have it because it's
so I can
more.
so we're changing the step length here.
Yes.
So let's say we do 32.
So press end and 32, and now you set up
at 32. Simple enough. Sure. And what if I want to do a count in now?
So press the record, and now play. It's 2 counts, so 2, 3, and now it goes.
And it's not entirely quantized, right? Where do I find the quantization?
Good question. On your recording set. Here it is. Recording setting. You have
recording setting,
quantization on or off, and the percentage of quantization.
Okay.
You can select how the overdub will do if you loop a lot of stuff. Yeah.
So if I want to change the quantization of what I've recorded, I just increase it here, or
you set quantization on.
Yeah.
And then you set the amount of quantization.
Yeah. So this is also similar how it works on the Electron devices.
Yes.
You can set it after the fact. I don't have to press it or anything. No.
You to come out here, or you have the back button whenever you want to go out of.
Yeah, walking through the forest to Superboot. This is my soundtrack.
I would add here one thing that could be interesting.
Yeah.
On the first lane, we had this groove function, which you can import the groove from Ableton too. So with Shift, and you have a different groove that you can import with the app. So let's, for example, take Quinta Loca, and now we can add accent and time. So now it has more of a groove, and you can add different groove to different track, like you would do in a DAW.
So if we go to the bass, we add in the bass.
So you are ready there. So you can set the accent, the time, and you go. Again, accent doesn't really work with Vermona because it doesn't have a great implementation. Random with set random, of course, timing, and groove you select. You have a pool, I think, of 16 or 20 different groove. And you can design your own groove in the app.
That's cool. So now there's a time. So that's the timing.
That is the software swing time.
Yeah, so that's kind of nice because now we have like
a tiny bit. Yeah,
it's a little bit more groovy. And
You're vibing.
Yeah. Driver jag fram som ett band som bandas för många gånger med samma trams. Jag tungsint, jag är en ensam lyricist som till sist vunnit genom lite list. Jag tungsint, jag driver fram. Tungsint, driver fram. Wow.
Preview allows you when you, for example, if it's on, whenever you put down a step, you hear.
Ah, that's awesome. Okay, that's really good.
So you can hear what you're doing.
What you're doing, you can turn it off very quickly.
This is the Arpeggiator.
Okay.
So this is the chord mode that would do a chord, but now I'm arpeggiating it.
Yeah, so it's a one press chord.
Yeah, and so it's very nice.
Do we have the same scale for this, or how did I check that?
Here, it's chromatic. Good catch. So we will go. What we are Dorian.
Yeah.
Let's set a simple thing here. So it's C Dorian. I would set up track 4 as our chord, and instead of using in track 1 Dorian C4, I would say harmonize to sequence 4. So now if I play, this is just not harmonized, so it plays only the C. But I go on track 4, and And now, whenever I change chord, and this I do a lot of performance like that. So the cool things here is that you can also save the chord you like. So let's say we start with C minor and I save it here, pressing 1, and now I have it saved here.
Okay, so then I can go.
Keep hold, and now it's saved.
So I can
Exactly.
go.
Exactly. And this is a very simple way to like create it. And now,
So if we go back to the drum track.
of trick, instead of putting many chords, you just put one note.
Sure.
And you said this note harmonize again to the track.
How did you harmonize?
Here when you said shift and scale, right? You
and
move
we
different
harmonize
scale,
to sequence 4.
You go to the leftmost and it's harmonized to the sequence 4. And everything changes. And then there's so many other things like to dig.
But this was fun. I felt like I got the hang of it pretty quickly, actually. So I think the next step for me, I'm just gonna take this.
Do it.
You can't have it.
Do it. I have more rocks in this house than any other synth. So you can have it.
Yeah, I take it. And now the cops are coming for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna take it home. I'm gonna set it up in my studio and test it over there and see if I can make it work.
And any question you have, you hit me up.
Absolutely.